Right, good evening. Now, anti-bullying week, this is my first video and in awareness. And I thought, you know what, let's get the beautiful Paula Clark on. She's a poet, she's a book writer, she's written 3 books in total in 2 just since March.
6 months.
6 months, exactly. 2 books in 6 months.
No, 3 books. 3 books in 6 months.
6 months. 3 books in 6 months. See? Talents. She's an artist. And she's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. And she just recently had a brilliant interview with Ian Turner, is it?
Ian Turner from ALB TV.
Yep. And all I've got to say is welcome, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you for having me on your podcast, on your show.
I know. It's been some time since I last had you on. It's been some time, and I know we've got another one upcoming, which we're actually going to promote your books. I think that's even next week.
I think you'll have to remind me.
I'm gonna have to. Literally, my mind's blank when it comes to that. But yeah, we're going to talk about bullying because I know you've had experience being bullied and experience regarding your daughter.
Well, all of my children, I had 3 children and they've all been bullied. The latest one that really affected me was my middle daughter.
Yeah. So obviously my first question, obviously this is more of a discussion rather than an interview because I don't do interviews. My first question is, what does bullying mean to you?
It's a projection of one's unhappiness onto another person and to make them feel less than you. And when that person, the victim, then cowers into a state of, I don't know, where they really feel less than they should feel, then the bully wins. And so it's an empowerment over a victim through use of whether it's language, aggression, threats. It could be anything. It could just be picking on someone. It could be taking something from them, putting them down. It can be bullying. It could be, just ignore it, just making that person feel less than, and victimizing that person so that you feel better than them. And I've experienced it myself, and I've watched it with my children.
Yeah, it is hurtful. It is hurtful, and because obviously I was in the same, and I know how much it causes, likes of anxiety, PTSD, depression, and it's hurtful. It's hurtful, especially when it comes to cyberbullying, because I believe that is one of the worst types of bullying anyone can experience.
So let me take you back to my now 18-year-old, when she was 10, very popular, AA star student, very sporty, very bubbly, into everything, guides, running, football, sport. She's very popular, very busy, she's, look at me, da 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 da. I thought she'd be the first person out in my family to do something amazing, like invent the cure for cancer or climb Everest. She's that kind of kid. At the age of 3, she climbed the top of a huge tree. It was huge. I had to kind of strain my neck to look it up. And I was, where is she? She was right at the top of the tree. There was nothing she didn't want to know about anything. She was always inquisitive, always doing stuff. At 10, she got bullied by 2 girls who were nothing like her. That's how they felt. So imagine my daughter was blonde, skinny blonde, blue-eyed, and everyone liked her. Everyone knew her, right? And these girls weren't like her. In their head, they weren't like her, so they put her down. But they did it in the most vicious, vile way. They did it via her new Instagram account. She was only just allowed the Instagram account because she used to love taking pictures of food, right? And sharing pictures of food, because that's what in the innocent Instagram days, that's what it was about, was sharing pictures of food. And I used to check all of her posts, because, you know, you do at the, you know, we're talking 8 years ago, checking all the posts. And these two girls created a false account with her name, and it was all targeted against her friend, who was much bigger than her, much different. And they'd been friends for ages, against her best friend. It took her best friend's dad, who was an MI5 security computer expert, to and involved 3 schools, the police, right, to prove that my daughter did not send those messages. But by that time, my daughter had lost a lot of friends, and that's what hurt her more than anything. Not the whole situation was awful, but what hurt her more than anything was that people believed that she was capable of doing it. Because the language, I mean, we were Christians, you know, we went to church every Sunday, that kind of thing. You know, bad language wasn't allowed in our house. No. And so the language that her, you know, that they said that she was saying, it was just words I didn't even think she knew. But watching what happened to her after that, she then became a target for other bullies, and she lost confidence. She started self-harming. She ended up, I can't tell you her story because that's her story to tell, but her story nearly destroyed us as a family. I lost everything because of her story. I was lucky that she was almost taken from us. But at the age of 15, we nearly lost her. And I lost everything fighting for her. Literally. That's why I wrote the book I did. But cyberbullying, her story started with cyberbullying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to think of a response to that, because it's just powerful to what you actually have just said. And I've got nothing but, if I had a hat, I'd take it off to you. I really would, because this is how much of a powerful role model you are to not just your daughter, but all your kids.
Thank you. But can I just say, all my daughter wanted was those 2 girls to apologize to her. That's all she wanted. Even when she bumped into them about 5 years, 6 years later, she said, all I wanted you to do was apologize and own up to what you did. And they still would not apologize to her. And that's all she wanted. She just wanted them to say sorry. That was it. Because the police told her that they told them that they had to apologize to her, but they never would. They never did. I still can't look at those girls in the street. I mean, they're 18 and 19 years of age, and I can't look at them, which is terrible. Because I know what they did to her.
Well, I actually shared a post. I don't know if it was on LinkedIn or Facebook, but I thought, you know what? Because I'm going to put a post up every single day this week. I did it today, I did it yesterday, all about anti-bullying. And I came across a really fantastic one. It clearly states, if somebody wants to bring you down, it shows that you are above them.
I believe that too.
Yeah, I believe so. And obviously, before we actually got talking on this, you said you had a couple of poems regarding bullying and mental health.
I do. So first of all, before I say that, my son got bullied, which is relation. So mentioned all 3 of my children being bullied. So that was my older story. Then my middle son got bullied by his best friend. That was in May 2019. Was it May 2019? Yeah. And my son, come January, didn't want to go to school anymore. He used to pretend that he was ill. He used to come up with all these excuses. And because we couldn't get him into a school, we had to wait 9 months to get him into a new school. And he, for 2 years, asked me if he could move to a new school. And I believe it was very much to do with what happened to my older daughter, because it was the same school. And it was just the parents. And I honestly believe it was the parents and the way they reacted to what happened to my older daughter, and that it had an direct impact on my son. And he just felt that he wasn't liked by these Huganga boys. And, you know, he was one of the popular kids. Again, you know, he's really busy, really popular. My son is creative and quirky, thinks outside the box. You can look at a box and make 100 things from it, right? He's just like, he's got this crazy, quirky mind. And, you know, he didn't like football at the time. He loves it at the moment, but he didn't like football and so on. Anyway, he got picked on by this boy. And he used to tell me every single day how much he hated going to school and that nobody ever spoke to him. And I wrote this poem. And when we left the school, I told the teacher, the head teacher, about this poem. I said, get my book and look up The Lonely Bench. I said, because that's exactly how my son felt when he was at your school. She never responded to me. It's called The Lonely Bench. That dreaded bench in playground sits for those with no friends or warts or nits. All by itself, a place of fear, sitting by oneself with no one near. Where warriors and popular alike, or those with a fancy scooter or bike, would never go as far too cool. The best of bunch they are at school. Walking home, I chat with mum. How was school? Was it fun? Sure, I say, with fibbing stench. No heart to say I'd stayed on bench. And how kids try to protect you from how they feel. Or sometimes they tell you, and we're so saddened by it, but that we can't take it in. So we kind of like brush it off and think it's going to be okay. And then this one is an ode to the bully. I've written about 4 poems about bullying in the book. This is the book.
I'm getting that book.
Thank you. This one's called An Ode to Bully Mark 1. You stop me in the playground, you step on my new shoes. You pull my tie to choking tight and my hair until I'm blue. I cannot tell the teacher, for you are teacher's pet, and I do not want to fight you, for my muscles aren't there yet. I do not tell my mother, for she will go all sad, and I know there will be anger if I tell my dad. Instead, I hide inside me. Instead, I shut right down, and where once I was so happy, sadness wears the crown. And that's just a child's point of view. I'm not talking about bullying in the relationship, bullying in childhood, you know, in the home, as a child with your grown-up parent. That's what I had. I had a bullying dad, and I'm not talking and a bullying stepdad, and I'm not talking also about bullying in the workplace, which I've also experienced. I also had a bullying sibling, which I won't mention, but I just did. So I've experienced bullying in many ways, and to watch my children experience it is really quite sad. And my last child got assaulted, actually. My middle child, she's the sweetest, kindest, most humblest child, and she got assaulted by a girl who didn't like the fact that she spoke to her ex-boyfriend, and they were friends anyway, and she didn't like it. So she really nastily, violently assaulted her in the playground. But the bullying part came in where she told everyone she was going to do it, and they filmed it, and then that went kind of viral locally. That video of her getting beaten up by this girl and all the boys laughing. And then when she'd pass in the school ground over the next couple of days, they'd be calling her names and saying just nasty, horrible names. And these were people that she hung out with weeks before. And so now my daughter doesn't want to go to school anymore, and it's her GCSE year, and she doesn't want to get out of bed anymore, and she doesn't want to do anything. And that's not fair. So every night I have to do affirmations with my children that I am enough, I am perfect, and they have to say it 5 times before they go to sleep. I am enough and I am perfect.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously I am actually going to do a podcast myself, obviously just me on my own when it comes to this day, and it is actually about getting out of bed, because I'm actually going to stream that live on Facebook or YouTube, one of them, of me actually starting that live, myself in bed, and I'm actually going to encourage those people to get up.
Good. Please wear pajamas.
I will. Don't worry.
So I've had my experience with bullying. I must say that watching a child being bullied is really hard. Watching 3 children be bullied is incredibly hard. And I struggled. I must say, I'm probably one of the most positive people I know. And I went down a little rabbit hole and I really struggled to get out last week. And I've got an NLP coach helping me to get back on my feet myself, because bullying doesn't just affect the person being bullied. It affects everyone who loves that child or person, because that you feel for them and it affects you really. But you're watching the person you love struggling and suffering at the hands of someone who's, for whatever reason, has chosen to pick on that person and demean them.
Absolutely.
But in all of this, my children have always been gracious. My older one rebelled, but the other 2 have been very gracious. So that's bullying. So do you want to hear from this one? This is my new book. Came out on Wednesday. It's called A Woman's Ode to Man, and it's all about looking at men. It's a quirky look at men from one woman, that's my perspective, one woman's perspective. And this is, but I did get a lot of help from guys, my guy friends, with all the topics and the subjects, and they gave me all the subjects. I think I added about 5 myself, but there were about 4 guys who gave me 105 poems, topics basically. And these 2, there's about 3, but it's meant to, about men don't like to talk about stuff. Men,
I'm guilty.
So I've got a few here. This one's called What's Wrong? Tell me what's up, what's going on in your head. These are words often said from me to you when I feel you're blue, it's true. But alas, you withhold any words to be told. Your secrets stay hidden, no speak to be given, just silence. Okay, but not okay. Tell me another day. But another day does not come, and you, well, you stay blue. This one's called Not All Right. Talk to me and tell me what's up. I can see that your cup is overflowing with nothing growing, just mold and sticky, yucky, slimy stuff that's eating up your soul, driving you to a darkened hole. Don't go there, I swear. I can help. Reach out to me or someone else. Stay on top. Do not flop or fall and fall, because you do not call. Just call. And this one's called Doctor.
I heard that one. On your live.
It started with a pain and then it got worse. We nagged for you to see someone, but you scowled and you cursed. It didn't go away, even though you said it would. And though we nagged and nagged you still, your brain, it was like wood. Finally you went, and the doctor, he was grave. He said you had been stoic, even venturing on brave. He sent you to the hospital and get you done some tests. And that was just some months ago, and you were finally forced to rest. The road was short and monkey, with more bumps and lows than highs. But sadly, when the pain had left, you were way up in the skies. Sometimes men leave it a little bit too late to go to the doctor. And this is the last one, about real men don't cry. Cry, boy, cry, let it all out, or else one day you will rage and shout. A hurting man, once deprived of tears, cannot let out the pain and fears. Not used to expressing such, it grows into mold and hurts so much. Cry, boy, cry, let it all out, so one day you'll have less to shout about.
Are you trying to make me cry, Miss Clark?
Don't cry. Don't cry.
No, they are the small but the powerful. And this is what people need to realise, that words are powerful.
Yeah.
And obviously, I always say that before someone starts bullying, think about that person who you are bullying or about to bully. What are they going through? What are they experiencing?
Or even the bully, to be honest.
Yeah.
This one particular girl, we could we could get the police involved. We still may get the police involved, but we try not to, because this particular girl wants to pursue a career in law, and getting her done for a serious assault would, really seriously undermine that. So we're trying to give this girl a chance. Because we're a fair family, right? Even though we've been dragged through the bushes by our hair with scratches and cuts all over us.
No.
We're still fair. And I teach my children compassion and kindness, and always to think about the other person and what they're going through. We don't know why this girl did what she did, but I see how my daughter suffers. So we're giving her a chance, and if there is no remorse, then we take a different route. But right now, I have to keep an eye on my daughter, but at the same time, have to try and also not teach revenge or hatred back or rage or anger, to diffuse it with kindness, love and compassion and forgiveness if you can. It's very difficult to teach children that.
It is. It's very
when they're feeling the emotion, and if they don't learn it, they carry it through to adulthood, and the rage will come out in drink or alcohol, or disastrous relationships, or terrible self-esteem, or a feeling of less than that we can carry throughout the whole of our lives. So it's a very difficult, patchy road that we're in our family that we're all walking right now, because we have to get those steps right. Absolutely. And they're slow steps. They're not fast steps. They're slow steps.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's how I say it.
Aye.
But on that note, bullying. We could talk about this longer than what we should, because there's just a massive topic. This is massive. And what do you think should happen next? Obviously not with your cases, your family, but in bullying in general.
It's very difficult, because here we are, two people who've experienced it, personally, and I've experienced it, with my children as well. And
me too.
I experienced it. I'm talking to you as an adult, having come through it. I've written about it, having come through it. And I've come out of that feeling of anger as well. And, that little black hole that I was in last week because of it. It's really, really difficult. I think for example, in schools, there should be better anti-bullying policies that are carried out, and punishment should be felt as opposed to just a slap on the hand. And I've watched how fickle teenagers are, how they've gone from one child to another, because that's where the drama is. And also because they know that the schools aren't, it could be schools, it could be workplace, right? They aren't putting in it, the penalties aren't strong enough. The deterrence, to deter them isn't strong enough. So you've had a bunch of teenagers who were my daughter's friends suddenly become our enemies like that. And then tomorrow they could be her friends again. Yeah. And they don't see the consequences because of social media, right? They want to go with the drama is. It's a drama. Everything is drama. It's drama. I really don't know. I think it's very difficult. I think it's a lot to do. There has to be anti-bullying, stronger messages in the school, but not just the messages. There has to be the punishment too. And I don't want to go back to like crime and punishment, but there has to be like some kind of follow-up, some strong follow-ups. If you do this, then this will happen, so that they know that's going to happen, rather than teach anti-bullying but then not carry on the punishment. In the same in the workplace, if you've got being bullied by a boss, then you should know that you could go somewhere and not lose your job because you've actually complained about being bullied. So it's okay. It's like when, bless her, anyway, I won't mention her name, but when we had that, everyone was going on about be kind, hashtag be kind. If anyone's got a problem, you can call me. Yeah, everyone jumped on this bandwagon, when that poor lady committed suicide earlier this year. And it was like, oh, if only she reached out. Well, how many times have you reached out to somebody and they're too busy, right? People are too busy to reach out. And be kind. Well, a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of blaming. It's a blame game, and taking sides, and teenagers do that. because you know they take sides really quickly, and kids in playgrounds, they take sides really quickly. And what I really liked about the school that my son moved to, for example, is they've got a very, very strong anti-bullying message, and that should come from ground zero, from the home right through, so that when we get to adults, we know it's not okay to be bullied, and it shouldn't be tolerated. And also, I think we should have more mindfulness in schools, more building up of our own self-esteem. So to counteract somebody saying you're not enough, you're not good enough, look at you, you're skinny, you're fat, you're tall, short, wrong color hair, you know, you wear glasses, you've got funny looking teeth, whatever it is, whatever that reason is that that child is being, or adult is being picked on, then we should know within ourselves that that's a lie. That's not true. I am enough. I'm enough. And so more of that input of building ourselves up personally it's not going to happen in most people's homes. Okay. So maybe having mindfulness lessons taught from reception age. I am enough. I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I know who I am, because you know the more self-development you do, the more you realize actually you've got all the answers and you are enough, and we're all connected in some kind of way. But if we learn, and if we teach that early within a kind of curriculum basis, even in prisons and whatever, if they taught more mindful, I don't know if they do, but if they taught mindfulness in prisons, you know, you're going to come out with, hopefully, I don't know, but it definitely within schools. I'm making a sweeping statement. I'm making a sweeping statement about prisons, and I don't know anything about them, so I'm not even going to go there. But I don't, you know, I can't. But within the school system, if I think mindfulness was taught early enough, and then and parents pass that on as well to their children, etc. But not all parents think the same.
Exactly. So. But you know what? I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this. I really do. I want to thank you, because I know how sensitive and personal this actually means to you.
This one hit hard. This one really hit me hard. This one. More than any of the others, this one really, really hit home, because I did not, I think it was my third child. I didn't expect it to happen to another child. And also, I didn't expect it to happen to her. She's so kind and sweet, and everyone likes her. So I don't understand why it happened. And it's like, it's out of the blue.
Well, I've actually got one piece of advice for Miss Positivity here. And that is, and I actually learned this from a video, is we need shit, I'm going to say it bluntly, we need shit in our lives for us to grow.
Definitely. Let me give you, somebody gave this to me, somebody we both know. Every adversity, every heartache carries within it the seeds of an equivalent of greater benefit. Which is more or less what you said.
Exactly. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to stop recording this broadcast. Thank you for coming on. You've been an absolute star.
You're welcome.
I look forward to the next video we do, which I think it is next week.
Remind me when.
I'm going to have to.
I've written it down somewhere.
Yeah, I've written it down somewhere, but who knows? But anyway, cheers for this.
You're welcome. Thanks, Adam.
Anytime. All right.
Cheers. Bye.